made way too many recommendations.
Yeah, okay, let's see what a balance is. It's not, remembering it's still a short answer question, so you don't want to go past probably a couple of paragraphs, that sort of length. So I would start by saying corporate culture.
So we'd have to explain what corporate culture is before.
It does say there, the first part of this question is explain what corporate culture is. If you've already been asked about corporate culture before, you may not have to explain it. Okay. So corporate culture is the way the people in an organisation see their work and what is important. Now, I don't feel I've done a great job of explaining this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give an example. Okay. So, for example, some organisations might have a culture that is focused on hard work and profits. Others might focus on ethics, e.g. the Body Shop. Now, remember in your in one of the criteria sheet, giving examples is important. So one of the things I think you should do your last revision is make sure you've got some examples for some of those questions. Right, so if you're asked what a stakeholder is, you might give an example of where it's used, something like that. Okay, this is telling me I've spelled that wrong. I've still got no idea what I'm doing there. Okay, so now, some indicators of corporate in a business include the way staff dress, the way staff relate to each other and customers, and the example set by management. In this business, dress seems to be tardy. Customer service, back onto that age thing again. Customer service is not good, and management has not been actively involved in the business. Don't worry, we've got a little...
Sorry, I didn't realise we were recording.
Oh, that's okay. That doesn't matter. Don't worry about that.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, hopefully we won't have lost too much of it. So if we go into... Okay. So, dress seems to be tardy, customer service is not good, manager's not been actively involved in the business. Okay, now we come to the second part. To change corporate there are a number of things that can be done. And here's where you want to be specific. Right? When you're giving recommendations for a business, right, it's got to be specific. It's got to be specific. So I would say the first thing is the way a manager sets an example is an important part of changing so what are you going to recommend to John in that situation? Yep.
To enforce dress codes, make people feel more, I guess.
Okay. Is it like a professional type?
Yeah, professional.
Yeah, okay. So if we'll come to the dress code, I think that's a really good one. So for this one, I would say something like, I'd recommend that John has all staff sit in with one of his meetings with clients each month. So they see the way. Okay. So the idea is you've got this theory. The management example is important. You say, well, here, what's John going to do about it? Well, John could have each of his staff members sit with him while he is dealing with clients so they could get an example of what happens there. Okay, so just being in the each day will allow John to set more of an example. Okay, now we come to dress. Establishing and modelling So establishing and modelling a dress standard will improve this element. Okay. What are other ways that you can influence corporate culture? Training is an important one. So we can talk about that. Training is an important.
So you were a business consultant?
No, I wasn't, no.
Oh.
Way to influence corporate culture. So establishing that emphasise customer service.
That would help with the inability to use a computer system.
Yeah, and use of computing systems. So we'll ensure that the staff have the skills to deal with customers and run the computer system. What we're really looking for as we do this, right, is the fact that you know the theory. Okay, so here's the theory. The way a manager sets an example, and then you can come up with a specific recommendation that lets that work. Right. Having John sit on the client. So here's the theory. Establishing training, or training as a way to organise corporate culture. So having specific training sessions around the ideas of computer systems and customer service will help the staff do that. So that's how I come up with an answer like that. Any questions about that?
No, sir, I think we have one question.
It sounds like you don't. Which is